Okay, here we are in Britain with the Romans, with Caesar 4.2, 4.2. Let's see, this is the landing scene. Does not go well, you'll see. There was, for these reasons, difficulty. Difficultatis feminine, all these tatus nouns are feminine, and they're all abstract nouns. The difficulty, that's an abstract noun. And of course, in English, it usually comes out as LTY, difficulty, similarity, that sort of thing. Because, and this is not the relative pronoun, this is the conjunction, because the ships, on account of their size, and these are troop transports, unless in deep water, they could not be anchored, constitui. Okay, so this constitui, that's a present passive present passive infinitive there. It could not be, and it literally means stopped, but really anchored to make it sound good. In alto, that's kind of a nice expression, on the deep. That's an adjective just being used as a noun for on the deep ocean. I've always been wary of this, to be able to be acted upon with a possum followed by a passive infinitive. A little bit of an oxymoron, because you have ability here and then passiveness here. Linguistically interesting. Now, this part's really tough. So this part's pretty easy. From here on, there's a really weird function going on here. Diciliendum est. So this is the, am I still on the page? Yep. Gerundive. Diciliendum est. In, oh man, drop this one on your friends. Passive periphrastic. Oh, passive periphrastic. Diciliendum est. Jumping off was necessary. Jumping off was necessary. What a strange little thing. There's no subject here. That's because this is an impersonal usage. Ooh, impersonal. And we have lots of examples of that, like the little word licet. It is permitted, right? I don't know if you've seen this one before. Oportet. It was necessary. And of course, necesse est, it is necessary. But yeah, impersonal usage there. Jumping off was necessary. And then plus a dative in these future passive periphrastics. And that's going back to the soldiers. Jumping off was necessary for the soldiers. And then all these. Look at these ablatives in here. Whew. Crazy, right? So all these ablatives describe the situation. This is a great example of how the Romans could throw these ablatives in there, and they just are descriptors of the general atmosphere of the scene. Look how it works. Now, this one's dative, but everything else in here is ablative. The places were unknown. Their hands were impaired. They were weighed down by the large and heavy burden of arms. And at the same time, they had to jump from the ships. So all these ablatives, I don't know what you want to call them, ablatives of manner, because they describe how it was. You could say, oh, well, it's also time when, Well, I don't know if there's time in there, but it could be ablative absolute, the places being unknown, their hands being impeded. So, yeah. Now this oppresses, this is a PPP, and it's actually dative going back to modify the militibus here. The soldiers weighed down, pushed down by the great and heavy weight of the arms. So that's not ablative, but you better believe that Caesar's just throwing it in there. It sounds like an ablative. So he gets this great run of ablative and ablative sounding words. Militibus autem, ignotis locis, impeditis manibus, magno et grave onera armorum oppressis. And so this ablative here, from here to here, by the great and heavy weight, that's definitely ablative of means with oppresses, oppressed by the weight. When you see an ablative, when you see a passive, look for the ablative, and there it is there. The weight oppressed them. They were oppressed by the weight. So some really interesting things going on in this long sentence, and it's not over. After the weekend, we'll see more.